ABC Thursdays.
Welcome back.
Grey's Anatomy is all new.
Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant?
The drama going down
Bungee jumping from the bridge, his cord snapped.
We need all hands on deck.
is unbelievable.
You think you're God's gift to this hospital? You're just another doctor.
My relationship with Catherine is complicated.
I'm gonna sue you.
Your lawyers know where to find me.
You're unbelievable.
Grey's Anatomy. All new Thursdays, 10/9 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Welcome to the Well Seasoned My Brand podcast. I'm your host, Dean Jones. This is Season 15, Episode 2. Today we're talking with Erica Walker, who along with her sisters Emily, Elise, Echo, and Shadow have written most requested copycat dishes, 100 plus homemade versions of your favorite restaurant recipes. Erica has been a florist, baker, cartoonist, and more, but nothing compares with her wife, mother, and food blogger life. Her love of sharing recipes and helping you create delicious meals is a thrill. She lives in Idaho with her family and enjoys traveling and adventures. The cookbook will be out October 1st. Now I'll take you to my conversation with the delightful Erica Walker of Favorite Family Recipes. Welcome to the Well Seasoned My Brand podcast. I'm your host, Dean Jones. Today, I'm talking to blogger and cookbook author Erica Walker. Erica, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank you for being on. We're going to be talking about your upcoming book, Favorite Family Recipes, Most Requested Copycat Dishes. It's going to be out in October. First, I want to kind of talk about your background and your blog. What inspired you and your sisters to create the blog Favorite Family Recipes?
You know, we created Favorite Family Recipes way back in 2007, so a long time ago, and we created it just as a way for us to share recipes with each other. I was newly married, and my sisters, they were all married with kids, and I wanted all of their recipes, and there was really no easy way of getting all their recipes, and so we created a blog just so we could share recipes with each other, put them all on there with pictures, and we just noticed that other people around the country started coming and trying our recipes and leaving comments, which was kind of weird. But then we just kept it public and more people came, and it just kind of snowballed into what it is today.
Now, being early adopters of blogging, you've seen a lot of changes to it, and blogs have become very important. And in that time period, they were kind of new and becoming very important. How has this changed for you guys since you started it, and how has it affected all of you, kind of putting out content, getting feedback, creating a fan base?
You know, it's changed drastically because at first it wasn't meant to be a blog where we were sharing recipes with other people. So we were just finding recipes that we liked and putting them on there. And then as time went on, a lot of it went into researching and finding things that people were searching and using SEO and building it into a business and adding ads and creating something that could be essentially just a family business. So a lot of that is finding what people are searching and then also listening to our audience when we send out emails or looking on social media, seeing what recipes they're asking for and making sure that we're delivering to the audience. So at first when we started, it was more just, these are kind of our favorite family recipes. And now it's grown outward into, okay, what do you guys want? And we'll create it for you and we'll put our spin on it and make it more catered to our audience, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Do you have any favorite stories of some of the emails you might have gotten about some of the recipes you posted?
Oh, wow. Yes, we've gotten a lot of recipes. I think or a lot of comments. The ones that mean the most, I think, are when people write in and they say, oh, this tastes just like what my grandma used to make. And it reminds me so much of my grandma and she's not here anymore. Or I actually had one last week where someone wrote in, it was actually a copycat recipe that we copycatted from a bakery where we grew up called Ron and Chris Bakery. And we found out that Ron had actually passed away recently, and the
Oh,
granddaughter, she wrote into us saying, I'm so glad that you guys preserved some of these recipes and that you posted them so he can live on through these recipes and not just, have those memories and recipes go with him. So people can still taste the recipes and feel like he's still around, I guess.
I love that. How do you go about, I want to just nerd out on the book a little bit. Famous family recipes, most requested copycat dishes, and also, the blog, of course, famous family recipes. What kind of research process do you guys put in? Do you guys ever disagree on a copycat recipe? Do you guys have like a testing method, or do you share it first and then publish it? What goes on in this process of creating the copycat recipe dishes?
Yes to all of that. Yes to all of that. So a lot of them we will take turns just posting recipes that we personally like, because we know that our audience, they have a wide variety of tastes, and so it's not going to be narrowed down to just one of us. So some of us have different favorites than others, and so we'll just all post all of our favorites. So I guess I'm trying to think of an example, like Hawaiian macaroni salad. I lived in Hawaii for a long time, so that was really personal to me. I would try the macaroni salad there and I'm like, oh, I love this recipe. But, I have another sister that's like, oh, I hate macaroni salad. So, of course, I'm still going to post it because there's going to be others there that like macaroni salad too. So it is personal, personal favorites, but again, also, like I mentioned, it's also what our readers are looking for and what they're writing in and asking for. And then we do kind of agree on, okay, well, a lot of people are asking for this certain recipe. Let's recipe test it, find a way, that we can make it, that we enjoy it, and then we'll put it out there for our audience.
Are there any insider tips or techniques you've included in the book to help some cooks achieve restaurant quality results?
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote the entire first part of the book is all just tips on how to recreate your own recipes at home. Because obviously we can't answer every email, someone in somewhere in the Midwest who has a favorite recipe who wants it copycatted. If we haven't tried it, we can't copycat it. And so this is giving tips on how they can go to the restaurant and how they can figure it out, and finding those different, seasonings that mesh well together, or talking to the server, or, looking online at the menu. There's lots of different things that you can do so you can figure out your favorite copycat recipes at home.
You have so many neat things in the book. I think some things like are from chain restaurants, but some things are from places that are harder to get to that people may not always go to, like Disneyland, for instance. You have some really great recipes in there, like the jalapeno cheese stuffed pretzels, or the apple pie caramel apples, or the pumpkin pasties, which I can't wait to try now that it's getting to be Halloween. Was that kind of hard? I mean, kind of like do research and get a consensus on those recipes?
You know, me and my sisters, every single one of us are big Disney fans. And so we find ourselves at Disney a lot. So those ones were actually pretty easy because we go there and we go there together and we go there with our families. And every time we go, we'll try some of these recipes. So we've tried them enough that we can recipe test them. And like you mentioned, the caramel apples, those ones were really easy to just wrap up and take home so we could compare side by side. But as far as ones that are more difficult to get to, that maybe we only tried once or twice, we just do our very best and just try and remember, like, how did this make us feel and how did this taste and what seasonings did we use? And a lot of times we'll just take notes on our phone or take notes as we're eating them. I just went to Switzerland recently, and I had these little cheese pies that were just like the best thing I ever had. And I was just like feverishly writing down a notebook, like, I know there is nutmeg in this, and I know there is Gruyere in this. And I was just writing it down because I was like, I don't know when I'm going to get to Switzerland again. I need to make sure I have this in my mind as well as as well as possible. So when I go home, I can recreate this.
It's such a wonderful. I love so many aspects of this. I think there's a duality here for me. Is that I like the aspect of the idea that it is fun to be able to try and recreate something in your home that you couldn't normally get unless you went to a restaurant. And that's really cool. And then there's also the other side of this, which is it's enabling you to make some really cool, neat items from your family. I have cooked for large families before, so it's a daunting task. And making something like Copycat Alice Springs chicken for the family would be really nice. Teriyaki chicken, making a honey baked ham. All these things would be really kind of nice to be able to use. I was really though wowed by the dessert section because you really got inspired there. I like making desserts, and just the nothing bundt cakes copycat recipes are really thrilling because I really can't wait to try them. But there is one specific thing I've never had. So, we're not, I don't think many of us will have tried all these things. So, depending on where you live in the US, etc. But like for me, there were some things I was like, oh, I've never heard of that before. So it was a really cool, aspect, like the homemade hula pie, which is just over the top. And I'd love to have you talk about that as well as also there's these incredible and very intricate sugar cookies in here. The sugar cookies from Swig. Can we talk about both of those things? Because those are two desserts that really kind of knock my socks off.
Sure, yes. So the hula pie is actually from a restaurant called Duke's in Waikiki. They also have it on different islands in Hawaii. And like I said, I lived there for a couple years, and that was my favorite dessert. I loved going over there and just getting like a big slice. It's kind of like an ice cream pie and chocolate satin pie, kind of all mixed together. And it is absolutely delicious. So, yes, I am excited for people to try these recipes. If they've never been to Duke's before or been to Hawaii, then they can make them at home. And then when they go to Hawaii, they can be like, oh, yeah, I can have this without making it at home.
Well, it's. I just can you describe it a little bit because it's really one of those things that if you brought it out for your family, they'd be like, "Oh my God!" Like it'd be like kind of a shock, right? Because it's huge.
Yes, it's huge. And I was definitely going to say that. Like, it's not something that you can eat on your own, or
Oh God,
even
no.
in one sitting with our own family. I don't think we could finish it. It's a giant pie. And when you make it, it's just this big dome shape. And one little slice of it is just so rich, especially once you add like the macadamia nuts and the whipped topping and everything. So that's definitely one to feed a crowd.
Oh yeah, like a big crowd.
Yes.
What about the swig? Can you please talk about the swig? I was like, as somebody who likes to bake, I was kind of like, first I was attracted to the photo, which is really attractive. It's a really good-looking cookie. And then secondarily, I was looking at the recipe, going, oh, oh, interesting. So you can talk about that one a little bit because I think that's going to thrill the readers.
Yes, so I don't know if you've heard of swig before. That might be something that's
I'm
more
not
in the West. It's basically just like a soda and cookie place. That's all they sell is sodas and cookies.
very nice.
And once that came out, I was going there probably on a daily basis, going and getting a soda and a cookie. Just loved the cookies. And to describe them, they're actually pretty giant. And I don't know if you can tell from the picture, they're probably,
Like saucer size, would you say?
yeah, like definitely saucer sized. And they're smashed. And so you make the cookie ball, the sugar cookie, and then you use the bottom of a cup or a saucer or something like that to kind of smash it down so the edges are really rough.
Hmm.
And then you refrigerate them and you put the frosting on, and you can, refrigerating them. So they're actually, you don't serve them warm. They're
Hmm.
actually served cool. And I don't know what it is when it's like refrigerated and served cold, but the cookies are so good, especially when paired with a soda.
Yeah, you saw that you had that tip in there. I want to try that. That sounds very fascinating. Are there any favorites in the book that you really are very proud of from all your testing and everything? Because there's some great things in here that I think people are going to really enjoy making for their family.
Oh man, I knew you were going to ask that. That's that's such a hard question to answer because it really
It
just
is. I'm sorry.
on the day and what my kids will eat and I really love just last night I actually made the Taco Bell ground beef recipe. So to tell you a
It's a
little
good
bit
one.
about my kids, they are they are so picky when it comes to tacos, and, like, I can
Mhm.
take them to a really nice taco place, but they're like, "Oh, Taco Bell meat is better," and they just want, like, that texture of the Taco Bell meat, but we all know, like, ta it's not, like, the greatest quality meat, but they love it. So when I decided to make it at home, I was like, "How can I make this, get the same flavors, use higher quality meat, but still be able to get that texture that my kids will that my kids will eat, that they'll love?" So when I figured out that one was definitely a win. Served it to my kids. They ate the tacos. They loved them. And like I took them over to my parents' house. I'm like, you've got to try this. It's like the texture and everything, but it's actually quality ingredients. So we actually made that last night for some friends that came over and they were raving over it. They're like, our kids are the same way. They just like Taco Bell. So that's one that I'm pretty proud of getting that texture and flavor right, even though it's not some, big over the top fancy restaurant recipe. I feel like it's a win because my kids ate it.
Yeah, you have a lot of simple recipes in there that I think people are going to really like the Chick-fil-A sauce, the hamburger from Taco Bell, as you said, the macaroni salad. These are all going to be things people can imminently use on a day-to-day basis and really get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Now, I want to ask you about a controversial or possibly controversial issue. You tackled the Geno's East Chicago deep dish pizza. How did you approach the challenge of creating a deep dish pizza that truly satisfies the essence of Geno's East?
That's that's a tough one too. And a lot of that came from readers because none of us are from Chicago.
Right.
And so we tried Gino's East Pizza once when we were there at a conference and we were like, oh, we've got to figure out this recipe. But it was tough because we were only there that one time. So we're like, okay, we kind of know the essence of it. We know it's, the cheese on the bottom and then the toppings and then the sauce. So it's layered differently than just your normal pizza. And so we went home and we did a dough recipe and we were like, yeah, this is pretty good. Let's put it up there. So we put it on our site and we had a bunch of people from Chicago coming on and being like, oh no, they use this kind of flour and oh no, they definitely use this. And so they were emailing us in and they're like, I used to work at Geno's and that's not how we did it. And so that one wasn't perfect the day that we put it on.
Yeah.
Thankfully for our readers, they came in and we definitely took all of their responses into consideration and we just kept tweaking it until we started getting consistent 5 stars over and over again.
Were there any recipes in here that there were a lot of recipes in there I thought would be really nice for like special occasions or a holiday dinner. Are there any that you think are particular standouts for like a holiday dinner, possibly?
Hmm. Are we talking like a Christmas dinner or a
Yeah, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving.
oh, I'm trying to think off the top of my head for Christmas.
I think the honey baked ham looks like a good standout.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's a great one for we make that every year for Easter. And definitely Christmas. I'm trying to thumb through here and just think of what would be like a good holiday. Like you mentioned, the pumpkin pasties. That's
Oh
a really
yeah.
fun one. That comes from Harry Potter, actually. So that's a really fun one for Halloween, as far as a Halloween holiday type dish goes. And we have butterbeer in here also.
Oh
So
yeah,
those are fun to pair
I missed that.
together. Yeah, we have the Harry Potter butterbeer, and that's actually one of the most popular recipes that we have. That we included in the book because we're like, it's such a fan favorite. People love this recipe and pairing those together.
My God, so many good things in here. I just am going crazy. The asphalt pie. The chocolate hapia pie just looks really good as well.
Oh, that one is so good. That one is from Ted's Bakery in Hawaii also. I worked at a bakery in Hawaii, and so that's where I learned a lot of the baking techniques is working working at that bakery and being able to experiment there. I had awesome coworkers and bosses that, they let us experiment a little bit with things that we could sell in the bakery, and that's really where I got my love of baking, especially baking Hawaiian things.
Like malasadas?
Oh, yes, malasadas, so good.
Do you have a favorite filling for malasadas?
Oh, definitely the haupia filling. That's kind of it's a coconut flavor. It's just this really creamy coconut, and those warm malasadas just, oh, so delicious.
I like that you included a lot of different other fillings in there too. There was quite a list, and I was looking at it going, I'd love to try the Nutella one. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. I am totally a filled like donut lover. I always go for the filled donuts or filled malasadas. So I'm all about the fillings, but I love the coconut. And you can combine the haupia and the Nutella and it would be delicious.
That sounds good too. Now, I imagine that you and your sisters have been able to see the cookbook already. You and I were talking about this earlier before we started recording. It's a very gorgeous book. It looks really good. And every single one of the photographs really highlights the recipes that you guys have written. What did you think when you all first got it and were able to share this with each other?
We were thrilled. We were all on a call together when we all got the books. They were all delivered the same day to our doorsteps. And so we all got on a call with each other and we're like, oh my gosh. And some of us, filmed opening it and you can see our reactions, but it is such a beautiful book. And I was so excited. It turned out I had really high hopes and high expectations, and I think it definitely exceeded my expectations. The pictures are so vibrant and beautiful, and I'm so happy with this book.
Yeah, for the listeners, this was published by Shadow Mountain, and they really did you guys proud. I mean, good food photography. Did you guys have any input on the food photography, or were
We
you
actually
part of it?
do all of our food photography.
You guys do it?
Yes, we do.
Holy Moses, you guys do a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. I mean, if you go back in 2007 and see some of our pictures,
Do you
you
guys
might
work for
not
other
be the
people? Because you guys are really good. You guys are amazing.
We do. We've gotten to the point where we work with some photographers also that we've hired. And so they'll come over and we'll do the styling together and we'll do the photography together. But yes, all of the pictures we did.
I could imagine a lot of cookbook authors calling you, wanting you to do their food photography. This is pretty good stuff. I'm amazed. Wow. I apologize for immediately assuming that the publisher hired somebody. You guys did an amazing job. This
Oh,
is good
thank you
stuff.
very much. Yeah, we're very picky with our photography. So and how we imagined it in our heads going along with the recipe and how we want it to look. So we did it all on our own.
This is great. Do you guys have any plans for any upcoming books? I know you guys just finished this one, but are you guys thinking maybe of a sequel?
Uh, Possibly. It's always within the realm of possibilities. This is actually our third book. So we
Okay.
published our first one in 2012, which was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And again, we did all of our own photography on that one. So the photography wasn't as great. We weren't as seasoned photographers. And then I think it's 2017, 2018, we released our second, which it's called A Year of Favorites. And so it's broken down by month. And that one does have a lot of seasonal recipes that you were asking about. So it has like November, December, and all the seasonal recipes. So this is our third. And then for our fourth, we're in talks with the publisher about it. We're thinking about it already.
Very
But I don't know,
nice.
not any definite decisions have been made as far as like the theme or the styling.
Has there been any talks from a network to get you guys on there and have your own show or something? Because you guys could probably have a great TV show.
Oh, I don't know. No, not really. We've gone and done morning shows. We've definitely done morning shows in Utah and Idaho. But as far as doing an actual TV show, I am friends with a lot of people and other cookbook authors and other bloggers who have done TV shows, and it's a lot of work, and I still have, fairly young family.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, that's a
maybe
good point.
that's a possibility, maybe when they get a little bit older, but running a business and doing cookbook stuff and raising a family, that keeps us on our toes pretty well.
I can imagine. Well, it's a really impressive cookbook. I'm going to wish you luck, but I don't think you need it. You guys did a great job. Erica, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. I want to recommend Family Favorite Recipes, Most Requested Copycat Dishes, 101 Homemade Versions of Your Favorite Restaurant Recipes, out October 1st. We will be airing this podcast episode on September 23rd, so it'll be before the cookbook comes out. You can pre-order it, and we'll have links to pre-order the cookbook and also purchase the previous cookbooks by these authors. Erica, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Dean. It's been a pleasure.
That's all the time we have for today on the Well-Seasoned Librarian podcast. I've been talking with Erica Walker, who along with her sisters has the food blog Favorite Family Recipes. Their new cookbook, Most Requested Copycat Dishes, 100 plus homemade versions of your favorite restaurant recipes, will be out October 1st. This book is available to pre-order in the links in the bio. This book would make a great Christmas gift for any home cook. Order now. Tomorrow, we'll be talking with historian Nick Nugent about his book, The Spice Ports, Mapping the Origins of Global Sea Trade. You won't want to miss my thrilling conversation with Nick. Until then, I'll see you at the library.